Hey there champs, today we're going to be talking about Frank Martin versus Shakur Stevenson and how their negotiations fell through and the reason why the negotiations fell through, and also why the whole boxing world was calling Frank Martin a duck, including me, but I said that I was going to stop calling him a duck until he explains himself. But until he explains himself, he is still a quacker, and we're gonna talk about this next. But before that, guys, if you guys are not subscribed, please punch and knock out that subscription button. That way you'll never see it again, and ding the notification bell. That way you never miss any of my new boxing videos. Alright guys, let's get to the round. Ding ding. Okay guys, let's get started. So the whole boxing world was calling Frank Martin a duck because we were all expecting Shakur versus Frank Martin. We were expecting them to close out the fight for a mega showdown for both undefeated fighters. But 2 days ago, the fight did not come to fruition, and Frank Martin pulled out of the fight without explaining himself. So the whole boxing world kept calling him a duck. We all thought that the fight was said and done and all the terms were agreed to, right? And we all thought that the fight did not have to go to purse bid. So they canceled the purse bid because they said that it was no longer necessary. And that shortly after they canceled it, Martin pulled out of the fight. So the whole world thought that he was ducking. I said to myself, I don't think Frank Martin has any kids because his pullout game is strong. Just kidding guys, I gave that guy the benefit of the doubt. And I also stated that I know we're gonna have a good explanation for all of this eventually. But thank God we did get an explanation, and the explanation was that Shakur was trying to lowball him and only give him $1 million. I believe Shakur was gonna take home $6 million, but I believe that's only 17 or 18% for Frank Martin, less than 20%, right? Most boxing fans thought about the same thing, that Frank Martin pulled out to fight Tank for more money, or he just did not want to fight Shakur because that is a very dangerous fight for anybody, not just Martin. I believe Shakur Stevenson, he is the boogeyman and he is the most avoided fighter in boxing by far. Shakur Stevenson posted that Martin did not pull out to fight anybody else. He does not have any fights lined up. He is just scared to lose. And Martin did not post anything for a few days, but I guess 2 or 3 days later, he posted that I didn't duck-ish. Shakur revealed that Frank Martin wanted a 50-50 purse split or none. But as soon as he posted this, Shakur deleted his post, but Martin did not delete his post, so somebody's lying. The whole boxing world was saying that Shakur got a taste of his own medicine. Martin was trying to negotiate with Shakur the same way that Shakur was trying to negotiate with Devin Haney. The only fight that would make more money for Frank Martin versus Shakur would be Frank Martin versus Tank. If Frank Martin pulls out from the Shakur fight to fight Tank, that is not a duck. But I personally believe that Frank Martin loses to both Tank and Shakur. He will get outboxed by Shakur all night long, or just will get knocked out by Tank, or at least dropped. Both are embarrassing ways to go, guys. So also, if he loses in that fashion, his stock will go lower, right? It will be hard for Shakur to get that type of money again. I mean Frank Martin. I feel what Martin pulled out because I would feel some type of way if I was only getting 1 million and my opponent was getting 6 million. They both are not champions and they're both fighting for a vacant belt. I know Shakur has been a champion on other weight classes, but not on this weight class. People say that Frank Martin doesn't have anything to offer, but I beg to differ. I believe a champion is a champion, but I believe the next big thing is an undefeated fighter. Just look at Tank versus Ryan and how much did it sell, and no belts were on the line. It was a catchweight and it was undefeated versus undefeated. This fight can sell well if promoted right. Both are young and in their prime, and both are undefeated. That has to count for something. I also said before, hardly anybody ducks, guys. Everybody eventually fights. I'm sure all the fighters, Frank, Tank and Shakur, will all fight each other eventually. I personally believe the purse bid was ridiculously low for Frank Martin. He would have gotten paid okay for this fight, but if he loses badly, his future purses will be a lot lower, and basically cashing out for $1 million. I don't believe that's a lot, especially that you have to split that with your promoters. He can probably make that in 2 fights fighting way less dangerous opponents. But what do you guys think? Is Shakur lowballing Martin, or is Martin still considered a duck? Comment below and I'll write to everyone back. But before I go, I got something very important to tell you guys. Subscribe.